What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Torchlight Infinite. This is a new game coming out and it's set to release very soon for the closed beta. Since I did cover all of the Torchlight games here on the channel, I figured let's go ahead and check out the new trailer. They just dropped a bunch of news as well as some gameplay. They did a long live stream here to kind of condense it into one small little video over here. But let's go ahead and check out all of the news and information. So first off, closed beta signups are available. You can go to the website. As far as the actual release date, we don't have any confirmation of when the closed beta starts. It just says soon. There was one website, Pocket Gamer, that did post it on January 18th for the closed beta, but that post has since been removed, so we still have no official confirmation on the actual release date. But I'm going to show you guys some more gameplay as well as other things in the game. I'm going to have some Path of Exile music in the background just because some of the music may be copywritten here for the gameplay that they are showing off. But pretty much what it comes down to is I'm not sure if it's going to only have a mobile release. It's definitely releasing on mobile, as in some of the gameplays you'll see it does say that it's like mobile gameplay that they're showing off. So there may be a PC release in terms of it coming out at the start, or it might come out later. I have no idea if they're releasing like PC and mobile side by side. However, there are some gameplay moments that were shown off that had a completely different camera angle, which makes it look more like PC, and the interface is kind of different. So I don't know if that's just a completely optional different interface, or if it's just they mocked up some different types of interfaces. But in terms of gameplay, what are we looking at here? They dropped like an hour-long stream. I'm just going to go and kind of skim around here and kind of show you guys mostly what you guys are actually interested in. Now, the game does look very, very fast. There are several different classes. There is 4 that they show off, but I think that there is also a 5th class, which is some type of like cat, maybe it's like dual like Knuckles or other variant. It doesn't look like you are locked to very specific weapon archetypes. If you play Torchlight 3, you could run any weapon for the most part. There may be certain exceptions via like it works with a certain skill, but for the most part you can run different weapons and still use abilities that normally you would think like multi-shot you would have to run a certain weapon, like a ranged weapon, where it didn't really require you to do that. Here is just like kind of a boss fight over here, and you guys can see some of the earlier gameplay. So most of the skills looks like it's kind of on a cooldown. However, there are certain other classes that you'll see, and I'll show you guys gameplay of other different abilities as well as different like resource mechanics. You'll see there's one that has like 100 and it kind of starts draining it down over here. This is the Berserker class that you guys are seeing gameplay of, but I want to show you guys kind of more the depth that this game does have, and it looks like it's going to have a lot more depth than Torchlight 3, which is a good thing. I like my action RPGs to be a little bit more complex. We'll go back to the gameplay here in a moment, but in terms of like the talents, what you guys can see over here, this is on the live stream that they showed off. You can select different talent panels, and each one of these looks like it's kind of almost like a class, but there's also your base hero that you'll have stats that you can allocate as well, different points. But you can see there's a God of Might, which is more likely going to be melee. Then we have Hunting, which looks like it's supposed to be range, Knowledge, maybe some sort of like Mage. They don't let you see every single one of these, at least in this video here. But what are these talents here? So some of them will offer as a micro talent. There's like more impactful ones, but you can see there's just a damage changes, and once you reach certain thresholds you'll be able to select, I think, multiple. So it looks like you're going to be able to unlock this at 20 and 45. And then in terms of itemization, like there's different rarities in terms of the colors, and here's like a purple item over here that just grants you life regen, gear, energy shield. So that's a viable way to scale. In the endgame they show off a build that's just pretty much based off of energy shield, and you can see it's giving you some stats to intelligence. In terms of the skills, it looks like you unlock these as quest rewards, which is very interesting way to approach unlocking skills. So I don't think a class is specifically going to be locked to certain things. In fact, they show off a lot of these different skills over here. I don't know if the shop here is meaning that you're going to have to buy them with, let's say, real money, or if it's going to be some form of in-game currency, but that's something I just did see, and then you can see he got Berserker's Roar over here. And then there are these bigger nodes that you can actually obtain. Some of these are kind of interesting in terms of being able to min-max potentially for certain builds. So you can see there's one that gives you extra attack damage for 1% of missing life, 15% chance to avoid damage on low life. What is low life? They do go over some of these like mechanics, but I'm not going to go over every single one of them. But it definitely seems like they want you to be able to build a character that's more niche versus just flat stats, which I personally like. You can see on Perfect Guard, there's 25% chance to gain Harden on defeat, which is 40% attack damage while Harden is active, or you can get 2,000 armor and 100% armor gain from chest armor, which is really cool. That's almost like Juggernaut in PoE, where you'd be able to get like double the armor. I like that. These are really cool and unique things that are more than just like plus HP or plus damage, which they do happen to have these things called packs that you'll be able to unlock and get points into as well. These are just more so numerical. At least what they showed off, it was either like defensive stats or offensive stats, like extra damage over here. Now, in terms of like the world and how it's instanced, it looks like you're going to go through different chapters or acts, and you can see kind of like it almost be similar to Torchlight 3. There are some assets that do transfer over from Torchlight 3, but there are completely new areas, completely new enemies and stuff like that, and the game looks a lot more engaging. Speaking of classes, this is going to be at like 2 times the speed right here, but it's just showing off some of the classes, and I figured we'll go and show that off. So you can see they're creating a new class right here. Like I said, this is fast forwarded because they have like a giant intro here, but I want to show off all of the classes, as well as we'll actually go into endgame content here, which is cool. So you can see the different classes over here. So you got like a gunner. This one looks kind of like they showed off a lot of mage gameplay from the Frostfire, but this guy kind of reminds me of like the monk if you play Diablo, with the different like little clones that you get, and like it almost looks like 7-sided strike. That's pretty awesome as well. So that's the I wrote down all the classes. So it's Berserker, Divine Shot, Frostfire, Space-Time Witness is, I guess, they're making a class over here, but those are the classes. And then on top of that, I wanted to see some of the legendary abilities to see like how creative they're getting, because this is a big part of action RPGs, being able to see like how complex some of these builds can actually be. This is pretty cool. So this is Crimson King. It's a legendary. I'm not sure what the official term is calling it, but I'm just going to call it legendary for the sake of like the colors. It makes it easy. You can also see that there's M and S. I don't know if this is something that they were binding to certain key binds over here. It looked like, but from what I saw from the gameplay, it looked like it was mobile. But again, there could be a PC release also coming out. But in terms of the item here, Crimson King, you can see with the second line of text in the little orange square here, it says mana cost converted to life cost. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's basically like Blood Mage. You're going to be able to spend your mana cost as life. I like that. That's a really cool and unique thing. There's also another amulet, looks like over here. In terms of like item, looks like we have a helm, chest piece, an amulet, gloves, belt, boots, 2 ring slots, and your weapon, and I'm guessing some sort of offhand if your class has it, but looks like this one is going to be two-handed. This is pretty cool too. So with the third line of text over here, so you have 40% extra damage to elite enemies, but minus 30 additional damage against normal enemies. But with the next line of text, when an elite enemy is killed, eliminate non-elite enemies within a range of 10 meters. Enlarge physique when killing elite monsters. So that's kind of cool too. It makes it so you're an elite hunter, so you just focus in on the elite, you kill them, and then it kills all of the other enemies. See, that's what I really like to see with action RPGs. I like creativity versus just, you know, like plus life, crit strike, you know, that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of cool. And then in addition with this is almost like a Path of Exile system over here. So you have like your skill, right, which you can change in and out, but you can have other things that modify the skill. So you can see this one basically is like a 5 link, and you're going to be getting more links if you played Path of Exile. It's kind of like getting, you know, additional support gem links. They kind of show it off over here briefly, but they don't show off like all the different things that you can put in here. But basically that's like the concept idea. You can see some of these will unlock. I'm not sure if this is by level or if you just kind of play. But this is cool. I like this. Again, this is the things that I'm mostly interested in when I look at an action RPG. Here are the different like areas that you guys can see over here. You can see there's a Realm Lord. I'm guessing that's almost similar to the Awakener level, if you want to think of it like that. Perhaps that could be something to consider as well. That's cool. And now I want to actually show you guys like the endgame gameplay, and this is something kind of important. So it looks like it's going to have a system where you have your base affixes and your bonus affixes to probably get some better drops. You can see rare monsters have 2% chance to drop 6 additional fate cards, so you have better like drops essentially when you're getting it more difficult. That makes sense. You can see the monster level is 80 over here, and I want to show you guys gameplay of the other classes. So this is going to be what looks like some sort of like ranger variant. So you can see kind of like a multi-shot, greater multiple projectiles is added into it. And what's cool is you can see this little like bullet mechanic system. They didn't like explain this fully. My guess is it's the way it's oriented is probably going to determine what type of arrow. Maybe it's poison, maybe physical, and then fire damage perhaps. I'm just making a guess here. What I also like to see is all these little buffs for the timers. That's really helpful. And it's looking pretty cool. They do also show off like the level. This is level 88, but you're able to clear out the game very fast. In Torchlight 3, like you would be really stuck to kind of like your cooldown. But this game, especially with the speed, with like the leap slam ability that they were using earlier on, it didn't even have a cooldown when they were just showing off the early gameplay. You can see the beam of light for like a legendary drop. That's cool. I'm really curious to see where this game goes, because for me, like, I'm really a mobile gamer. I hope they do have a PC release for this game, but either way, I definitely plan to check it out, as I'm a huge fan of, like, specifically Torchlight 2 with mods. That was really fun, especially like there's like the Far Eastern mod, there's a Synergy mod, so I'm definitely a Torchlight fan, so I'm going to check out the game regardless. But you can see there's like a little town portal that he's just going back into town. I'm going to show you guys the in-game gameplay. They actually showed off 3 different classes. This is the Berserker, which is the class that you guys saw earlier on in the gameplay. This is like the endgame, and you can see it's just like, it reminds me kind of, if you played Diablo 3, that's like Hammer of the Ancients. Like they're just going and slamming, going real fast. And it looks cool. I'm definitely excited to see where this game goes. It's more so complexity that I'm more of a fan of, but it's really zoomed in. Like I said, there is gameplay that they did show off that was super zoomed out. I'm assuming that's the PC release, because they did have in the corner of a lot of the gameplay mobile version. So my only assumption with that could be that they are having another release. And the only other thing could be like, unless it's on console as well. But yeah, that's the Berserker. And here is kind of more like what looks like to be some sort of a mage build, like a chain lightning. Just so you guys can get an idea of it. But now that you guys have seen some gameplay, this is actually the first time I'm talking about this game on my channel. I'm curious to know what you guys think of the gameplay. The trailer looks absolutely amazing. Who's ever doing the trailers for this game, you're doing an excellent job. Keep up the work. In terms of the gameplay, it doesn't look like there's anything too insane in terms of like just what I've seen that's not in any other action RPG, but it looks like it's pretty solid in terms of like being able to make different builds with certain things. Now, one thing I did want to mention here is that yellow bar of health right there. That's like the energy shield, I believe. And like you can see the HP is basically 1. So if you like things like Chaos Inoculation and Path of Exile, where you're basically at 1 HP, but you have a bunch of energy shields, you can maybe do that as well in this game. And I like that. I like diversity. I like crazy build ideas. And so hopefully this game will be something that we can have some fun with when it does release. And when the closed beta does come out, or if we get an official release date, I'll mention it and probably make some videos in the future, because it's been a while since we covered Torchlight. I know a lot of you guys may have followed me for my Torchlight 3 like build guides, because that was a while ago, but you know, Torchlight 3 hasn't had a new update in quite some time. I'm pretty sure they ended up canning it on in terms of future updates after the pirate release for the pirate class. But nonetheless, that's Torchlight Infinite. I'm curious to know again what you guys think of it. There's also, like I said, another class that they may reveal later down the line. Like I said, it's like some like maybe dual knuckle class, but the game's looking okay so far. I definitely would like to check it out when it does come out. But let me know your guys' thoughts, and if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here and do want to be up to date on Torchlight Infinite as well as other action RPGs, because Undecember is coming out very, very soon. I can't wait to check out that game as well. But take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. And if you guys want to see more, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.